nuclear missiles, proxy wars, the Berlin Wall. Two superpowers locked in a standoff that brought the world to the brink of annihilation. You might think the Cold War ended when the wall came down, but you'd be wrong. The Cold War didn't end. It just changed shape. And today, we're living in the shadow of choices made 70 years ago. This is a story of how the Cold War secretly built the broken world we inhabit today. Let's start with the proxy wars. Remember Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan. These weren't just isolated conflicts. They were battlegrounds where the US and the Soviet Union fought each other through other nations. They armed militias, funded coups, and propped up dictators, leaving a trail of destruction across the globe. From the Middle East to Africa and Latin America, entire regions were the extremist groups that rose from the ashes of these wars now fuel modern terrorism. The borders drawn and redrawn have led to endless civil wars and refugee crises. The instability they engineered is the direct ancestor of today's failed states and geopolitical chaos. Next, let's talk about spying. The Cold War was the golden age of espionage, with agencies like the CIA and KGB perfecting the art of surveillance. They tapped phones, intercepted mail, and ran vast networks of informants, all in the name of national security. Sound familiar? That is because the paranoia and technology of Cold War spying laid the groundwork for our modern surveillance state. Your phone tracking, your every move, your online data being harvested and sold. It all has roots in the intelligence apparatus built to fight communism. The playbook for mass data collection and political manipulation was unwritten by a tech CEO in Silicon Valley. It was written by spies in Moscow and Washington decades ago. And then there's the bomb. The single most terrifying legacy of the Cold War is the nuclear arsenal. For decades, the world lived under the doctrine of mutually assured destruction. The idea that a nuclear war was While the number of warheads has decreased since the peak, thousands still exist, many on high alert. Today, new nations are racing to join the nuclear club, and the treaties meant to control proliferation are fraying. Global peace is still balanced on a razor's edge, just one political miscalculation, one technical glitch, one madman away from total disaster. The fear that defined the Cold War hasn't disappeared. It's just simmering beneath the surface of our fragile world. The divisions of the Cold War also drew the battle lines for today's global tensions. Alliances like NATO were created to contain the Soviet Union. Now, that same alliance is at the heart of the conflict with Russia. The ideological rivalry between capitalism and communism has morphed into the economic and technological rivalry between the US and China. And the proxy wars, they've gone digital. Instead of fighting in jungles, superpowers now wage cyber warfare, using hackers to disrupt economies and influence elections. The culture of economic sanctions, using financial pressure as a weapon, is another direct inheritance from this era of superpower conflict. Finally, let's talk about the war for your mind. Propaganda. During the Cold War, both sides pumped out relentless propaganda to demonize the other and control their own populations. They manipulated news, created fake stories, and mastered the art of disinformation. What we call fake news today is just Cold War propaganda on steroids, supercharged by social media algorithms. The techniques used to sow division and stoke culture wars are the same ones refined by Soviet and American propagandists. They targeted our fears and biases to turn us against each other, and that strategy is more effective now than ever. So here's the unsettling truth. The Cold War didn't end in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union. It simply went underground, splintering into the conflicts, technologies, and divisions that define our lives. It changed battlefields from Berlin and Cuba to our politics, our technology, and even the space inside our own minds. We are all children of the Cold War, and we are still living with its ghosts. Thanks for watching, and if this opened your eyes, make sure to like and subscribe for more content that unpacks the world around us.